Hello.
Hey,
Hi, how are you? I like that you have a
oh,
microphone
I
and
know.
everything.
Nice setup.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you guys doing?
We're doing
Good.
good, doing well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
It is a great honor for you to come and talk to us about your life and the
Mhm.
work that you do. And on this podcast, we love to talk about culture. How
Yes.
how we're all similar, even though we may come from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
The dean is from Rwanda, and
Yes.
I'm just a boy from Dallas. So we're all a little bit different, but of course we are human, and again we relate to one another
Yeah.
in more ways than not. And so yeah, no, we're
Amen
just
to that for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, so to start off, you grew up in LA, is that right?
I did. I was
Yeah,
born and raised in Los Angeles
yeah,
Mhm.
and been here ever since.
yeah. What was that like growing up? I mean, were you involved in kind of what you are involved in now for all of your life? Like, what was it like for you growing up?
Um, pretty much. I've always had that creative side of me. So when I was younger, I would take different music classes or, lessons for different instruments, be a part of different singing groups and dancing groups and different classes. I
Mhm.
mean, I did, I was in a couple rock bands. I was part of a few different like musical groups in school, and we did these kind of like larger stage plays,
Mm.
where I did a handful of those, which they were pretty amazing, for a children's theater, I guess you could say.
Mm.
And like we did the Wizard of Oz, and I was able to actually be one of the flying monkeys on cables flying
Oh,
across the
nice.
stage, which was a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
Classic.
And
Yeah.
so I kind of transitioned from doing that into more on-screen professional acting.
Mm.
Mhm.
Um, and so I started taking acting classes and going on auditions, got an agent and a manager, and fell in love with it
Yeah.
and just kept pursuing it.
Mhm.
And I was able to do a few different things on different shows and different little films and such. And then I just fell in love with behind the scenes, being
Mm.
on set rather than being, in craft services and
Yeah.
having fun over there, even though I love to eat. But,
Yeah. Right.
going and actually watching and learning from the crew just fascinated me. I love the
Yeah.
technical side of the gear and the creative side. I absolutely love acting, but there's a certain limit to the creativity that you have on that side.
Mm.
When you're on the other side of the camera, it's completely a blank page.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
I love being able to put all that together. And so I started my company when I was 14,
Wow.
and with a group of friends, and we just started making films and such, and it just has grown and grown and grown over the years to the point where we're actually getting to an amazing point, and able to have a great um just growth throughout the
Yeah.
years. So, and then I've always loved music, always been a passion of mine. So
Mhm.
I went and I fell in love with country music, just
Yeah.
because my music is like a pop country,
Mhm.
modern country. But
Mhm.
what it does is it takes where the music can kind of come from any genre, but it's
Mhm.
Yeah.
really that songwriting roots of country,
Yeah.
and being able to tell a story just
Yeah.
has been amazing. That telling that story through, whether that be through music or through film. And one of my absolute favorites is music videos, because it takes
Mhm.
both of my worlds together,
Yeah.
and it's a dream come true. It really is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember watching some of your music videos and feeling like it's a short story, like you're watching a short scripted, film, and even though it's a music, but still there's like really a great narrative throughout the music video that
Yeah.
I was, especially the background one. was telling your personal story, and I was just like in awe of the videos, how you did them. It's the storytelling part of it's incredible.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's a big piece of it. Instead of just creating, the visuals, we're actually creating more than that and creating a story on top of it. And it's something that allows for kind of starting at that blank page, and it all starts from, in the writing room of actually writing the song, and then moving to actually recording the song and bringing it to life musically. And then it goes into, okay, so we have a little bit of a story here with the song. How are we going to completely wrap our minds around what we're going to do visually and bring that to life? Because sometimes a music video can sometimes completely be different from a song. It could be completely literal to a song, or somewhere in the middle, And I like to say, because when you listen to a song, kind of everybody interprets it differently. To some degree. There's a certain message, but you could think it's about this one person, and the writer actually wrote it about somebody completely different. I've heard certain songs and I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's about his wife or his girlfriend or whatever that would be. It was really about his daughter. And when you really look at that, I mean, there's another song called the Pina Colada song, Escaped. And most people never read into the lyrics, and they just think they're singing about pina coladas, which it's a completely different story. So it's really, when somebody sees a music video, that could really change their thought process of what the song is about. And so I want to always be very careful with that and try to stick somewhat true to the story, veering off in little sections, but be able to somewhat stick true to the story.
Right. And just to be clear, are we talking about the if you like pina colada?
Exactly.
Okay.
Do you know what it's about?
The only one. No, I've been told what it's. I don't remember, but I remember being surprised at not. I was like, oh, okay. I've been singing about this song. Maybe I should stop.
Oh, really?
It just surprised me if I remember.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because it starts out, they're both sitting, in bed, and she takes out an ad in the paper looking for this guy, and he reads it and he responds to the ad, and at the end they end up actually meeting, and they found their soulmate, but they were already together and married. And
that's right.
But it has nothing to do with pina coladas. They just both like pina coladas. And they realize, that they are the perfect person for each other.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They just kind of lost that connection a little bit.
I guess so.
But there's so many hidden messages in songs. And it's like, one of my new songs is called Live Like Paradise. And it's a really fun summer song. But if you really read into the lyrics, it's about positivity, because I live every single day like I'm in paradise, whether it's the best or worst day of my life. And it's in the song. It's a thought, it's a feeling, it's a moment. It's sometimes paradise isn't a physical place, but it's where you put your mind every day.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, do you have a question?
No. Like you have one.
Well, no, it is more touching on the visual storytelling of music. I mean, I think all of us are creatives in some way. I moved to Los Angeles to be an actor 4 years ago, and have always done sort of creative stuff in short films and that nature. And Dean, you as well, doing documentary work in your past life in Rwanda. And so, but something that's always, I've never really ventured into or really discovered as much as I should have, or explored rather, is the music video aspect of the visual storytelling. That's always been so fascinating to me. And I'm thinking back to when I was in college and we were tasked with creating a short story. I always wanted to have music in my stories. And I always found that it was really easy for me to convey certain emotions or things that were subtle that would be, I think, better conveyed through music. Like there are certain beats that I wanted to hit on a certain note, or like a certain like crescendo of music or something like that. And that has always been so fascinating to me because it is a different way of telling a story.
Yeah.
And you can hit on certain notes and certain beats that maybe you couldn't otherwise if like we're in front of the camera and we want to do certain things, but it may not come off like you want it to. Or maybe even behind the camera where you want something to be conveyed, but it's not actually hitting that point.
And that's exact. I mean, the truth of the matter is that when you, it's kind of the same as acting. If you stop speaking, it's all about the facial, reactions and the emotions in your face is what's telling the story and making it believable. If you turn off a soundtrack on a film, it's a completely different film. You ever trying to watch a horror movie with the mute button? It's not scary.
You can watch it then.
I mean, start watching them like that because I'm terrified of horror movies.
Yeah. But it's so true, and it really brings it's an emotional roller coaster when you have a soundtrack, and obviously a music video is really important to that. But on the film side of things, it's night and day. I mean, when we're doing projects and before we add the music, it's a completely different feeling. And you go in there, and whether it's a sad scene and there's, more calming, sad music, and you feel that emotion before anybody opens their mouth. You already know where the scene's going. Or if it's some sort of horror scene and it's, the suspense is building, we already know something's going to happen. And it just builds that up. It creates this persona of what we know to expect before it happens.
Right. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm thinking, because of the work you do, like doing all those things, writing and creating. So where did the voice come from? So how did you know they have the voice to sing? Because, so you have all these talents, and then, you can create music and the sound and all the background stuff, but then this performance, the vocal performance. So when did you find that out, and how did that come about?
I don't know if there was a specific moment. I just always have been singing as a kid, and just, throughout elementary school and middle school and high school, it just slowly progressed. I don't know if there was a specific moment. I mean, I would be a little kid and go up in a coffee shop and go sing. I remember I was singing "Fly Me to the Moon" in a coffee shop. Nice. It was so much of a passion of mine that I describe it as magical. When you're up on stage and singing and performing, it's truly, truly magical. And for me, I just started progressing into that, and I was in a chorus in school, and they had a little glee club, and like I said, the rock band. I was a drummer, and I did a couple of songs singing, and the way that music made me feel was just incredible. And I knew that it was something that was always a part of my life. And I mean, I remember that when I was younger in elementary school, I told my parents that, hey, I'm going to go try out for the rock band. And they're like, oh, are you going to sing? I said, no, not right now. And they're like, oh, you're going to play guitar? No. What are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to play the drums. And they're like, oh. Okay. I mean, you've been banging on the drums in the garage, but can you play them?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I went, and they loved me. And the music teacher called my mom and said, hey, I think he did a great job, blah, blah, blah. And, just he needs to work on this, this, and this with his drum teacher. So my mom, what she do? She gets on Google and she's like, drum teachers in my location.
Right.
Oh, that's amazing that your parents are so supportive, because sometimes boys, sometimes parents want the kids to become something, and the kids wants to become something else, and then it clashes. So having really supportive parents like that, it would be amazing.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, and earlier when you were mentioning how you were like in the musicals and you were doing all these things, I remember sometime, I think on a previous interview, Alex mentioning how he, he would go into musical and the stuff, and he was also an athlete. And combining those two worlds, it was a little bit, hard to explain to his athlete bodies that he's also in the.
Yeah, I always like to compare it to High School Musical, like those movies.
Yep.
It was just so hard to navigate those two worlds, wanting to be an actor, wanting to explore this side of me, but again, like the dean said, I don't know how to talk to my coaches. Like, maybe I want to sit out this season and pursue musical theater for a semester, or actually I have this short film that I want to do. Can I miss this practice or whatever? So it was just really, really hard to navigate.
Yeah.
Which I think
that's what I'm wondering if you went through something like that in a way.
Well, absolutely. And back to an earlier point, I'm very fortunate and very blessed to have very supportive parents who really tried to push for me to try everything. And if it wasn't for me, then that was okay. But to be able to try all the different sports and all the different creative, opportunities, that I'm very fortunate and blessed with that I'm able to find what I love to do. And, absolutely. The society today is they're very rough. And when you talk about, why can't we be an athlete and a creative?
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why we can't, but people cast judgment and they make their own opinions of why we can't, but it's not their life. It's not up to them. We can do what we want to do. And the biggest thing is, I had a lot of challenges growing up, being severely bullied physically, mentally, emotionally. And it was a really, really, really rough time in my life where it affected my childhood, my academics, and just my upbringing of how difficult it really was to go to school every single day and to be picked on and physically beaten up and just whatever it was. I don't care if it was something I was wearing or something I was doing, in that exact example. If, oh, well, you can't be on a sports team if you're on the creative side of life. It's like, why not? This isn't your life. We get to make our own decisions, that's what this is all about. So it was really, really, really rough, until I was able to, fortunately actually transfer schools and into high school where things got a lot better for me. And I was able to progress in life without judgment. And of course, there's always going to be judgment and bullying throughout our entire lives. Doesn't matter where we are, whether that be at a grocery store or on the road or in a workplace or at school, there is always those people. And we have to learn how to be able to, keep moving forward and let it just slip right off and not affect us.
Right.
And, it's so important to stand up for yourself.
Absolutely.
I didn't do that when I was younger. And if there would be only one thing that I would tell myself is to stand up for yourself. I was very, I was a very calm kid and didn't like conflict. And so when they came at me, it's like, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't thinking about, let me punch him back. That just wasn't how I grew up. And, I just wish I stood up for myself earlier. And because I don't tolerate that today. And I don't tolerate other people, doing that to other kids or other adults. I try to stand up for them because there's certain people that just can't. And I was one of those people. I wasn't able to stand up for myself at the time. And, it's kind of like I use an analogy that if you don't run, nobody can chase you. So if you don't let it affect you, then it's not going to be fun for them to bully you anymore.
Yeah, that's
No.
right.
Oh, that's the best response. Yeah, there's someone, a friend of mine always likes to say that when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at changes.
Mhm.
So if
I love that.
I know. So if they see that it's affecting you and you show them it's affecting you, they're gonna keep doing it. But if they realize it's actually not affecting you at all, they lose in a way.
Yeah.
And but as a kid, it's so hard to know those tools. It's so hard to know that what they're doing is not personal, or what they're seeing is not real to you. You're not who they think you are. So it's challenging to even be able to vocalize that, what you're saying is not true. It's not who I am, especially when you're calm and you're a quiet kid. It's so hard. And I'm wondering, because when I grew up as an introvert as well, and I wasn't, so some of the things I just internalized them until I couldn't anymore. I'm wondering if were you able to, when you went back home, were you able to vocalize what happened to school, or was it something that your parents had to pull from you? Like they would realize you're changing, they pull that information from you.
No, I mean, I was pretty open about it. And my parents would go into the school all the time and talk to the teachers and the principals, and it really didn't do much. The kids' parents that were bullying me didn't care. And they would be in there multiple times a week, every week, and nothing would happen. And it was really challenging. I mean, you think about our educators today, they're supposed to be, creating the next generation. And there was even teachers that would bully me, which kids shouldn't happen. But with teachers, that should never happen.
No,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a completely different, they're a grown adult towards a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not okay.
And that affects differently too, because when an adult actually bullies you, then you're more likely to believe what they're saying, because your child have power over you. They can change your whole life, from just one word.
Absolutely. And the problem is especially in a younger age, when you're still developing, and it still happens at an adult age as well. But when somebody keeps repeatedly telling you what you are, if you are dumb, you are stupid, eventually you're going to believe it, whether you want to or not. You're going to end up just believing it. And that's a huge, huge issue today. It's especially with, cyberbullying and being online. I mean, hiding behind a screen, it's disgusting. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about it, because there's kids out there that are just taking their life because of something that somebody said, and they don't care.
Even yet. Yeah.
I mean, our rate of cyberbullying has gone through the roof, especially with the pandemic and everybody not being able to bully in person, and being at home, kids that are in households that their family is bullying them, and then they're getting bullied online, and it's like they have nowhere else to turn to at all. And so I've actually partnered with a few different nonprofit organizations that deal with bullying. And so I've been doing going to different schools across the country, and starting this tour to be able to speak to kids and perform for them for some of my different songs background, which is about bullying, and some of my more uplifting songs, like Live Like Paradise, and a few more that are coming out, and be able to actually interact with the kids and try to help them. And I've done some different retreats. I've worked with the Boys and Girls Club, and it's something that I keep wanting to do because it's something that's coming from in here in my heart. And I want to help the kids that can't help themselves, and try to guide them and help them through this rough past, and know that it's not permanent. It's not forever. It will pass. I'm actually starting my own foundation.
You are?
Oh, yeah?
I am. And so we're going to focus on doing a like music festival, benefit concert style, where we'll bring a bunch of different artists that want to come and perform and raise money for the kids. And we're also going to be doing a merch line, partnering with different artists to raise money, and it's all going to sponsor kids. So whatever they need or want,
we'll be able to.
We're going to do something immediate for them. So something that can happen right away, whether that's, paying for therapy, or that is, if they want to take a music class or something for sports, or whatever that would be. If they've never been to Disneyland, I mean, whatever they want to do, we want to help them today and try to change their lives. And so, we're putting this together, and we're looking for artists and influencers and actors that are interested and want to be a part of it. Definitely reach out.
I was going to say something. Okay.
Yeah, no, please go ahead. Please.
I was going to say that it's amazing that what you went through didn't make you hate life. That's what I'm trying to find the right words, because sometimes things like that happen, and you they make you not excited about life, because because you just think about your past, and your past kind of you get stuck in it. But when you pull from the pain and all the things you went through, and use them as tools to help other people, I'm wondering if it's also your way of healing. If it kind of becomes more of like empowering for yourself, because I'm a genocide survivor, and everything I went through, I feel like when I share my story, or when I do whatever work, it really helps my healing journey. The healing doesn't, for me at least, it doesn't like end in a way, but it's like a journey. And whatever something good happens in somebody else's life because of me, it makes me more excited about life.
Absolutely. I mean, to be able to, what I did when I left that school, I kind of boxed everything up and I left it there. And I moved on and was able to turn my life around and start living the life that I want to live, being happy and enjoying. And so this was always something that was very near and dear to my heart. And as I started to, create a professional music career, and that's something I really wanted to create. I mean, it all started when I, actually started my production company. We did a TV pilot that was all about bullying, and we've done some different PSAs and such. But then moving forward to my music career, I wanted to write a song about what happened and try to create awareness with it. And so that was when Background was born. And, it was really, really tough to go back into my life and relive those moments when we're shooting the music video, not only when we're creating it, but literally on set, and everything is like exactly the same. And it's really weird to be kind of watching it from the outside as as myself, and I'm watching my younger self going through this, and it was really painful. It was really emotional, and we had a blast on set, but it was really hard to have fun with this topic, and so it was really challenging, and it brought up a lot of rough times. And so we got through it.
You
Right.
did, and you
And
did a good job.
thank you, thank you. You know, it's something that is just I push through because it's so important. So
Yeah.
important to put this out there and to get as many people as possible to see it, to
Mhm.
share it, because there's so many people that can benefit from this video and even more, because it's I didn't want to hold back. Like I was talking to my writer and I'm like, we need more. We need more. And it may sound bad, but we need more violence, because I need to be able to see, I need people to be able to understand what kids are actually going through,
Right.
not just sugarcoating it and saying, you know, bullying, you know, is bad and sugarcoating it. I want them to feel the pain that these kids are going through. And it's like, that's why there's a section in the video where, you know, obviously it's throughout the whole video, but there's a section in the video that we just completely stop the song. And it's just that feeling of this kid is in trouble. And he needs help. And that really portrayed to the audience. And going back to what we were talking about earlier with the music, and completely taking out the song and bringing it to life, where there is just, you know, you're hearing screams and punches and all this different kind of stuff that's going on. It's that feeling. Again, if you completely mute it and you watch it, it's not going to be the same feeling. So it's every department that comes together to really create that. And, you know, another thing that I've done to try to help kids is I never really had a true professional mentor in this industry in life. And so that's something that I really wanted to give back towards. So we started an internship program and bringing in kids that want to learn about film and, you know, the music industry and all different kinds of stuff, and in whether that be in development and creation or actually on set or in the post department editing, whatever they want to do, we want to get them there. And so I want to give them that opportunity to mentor them and really bring them into what we're doing. And you know, it's so important that they learn and be able to, you know, step on their own 2 feet. And you know, we don't have interns that run around and grab coffee and such. You know, this is real deal. We want them working with equipment and getting to where they want to be in life.
Involved.
I always ask them, you know, what's your 3 top positions that you want to do in life? And we try to work them there. You know, it takes time, and they have to climb that ladder, and not just because that's just what you're supposed to do. It's a matter of actually learning. As a director, as a producer, you know, when I run sets, I've done every single job that there is on that set. You know, am I a complete expert at every job? No, I don't have to be. That's why we have, you know, the people that run their departments and do their jobs, because they specialize in that and they're amazing at that. I couldn't do it without them. But there's got to be, when you're managing everybody, you have to know the expectations from the department, and you have to know, you know, every piece of it. So when something goes wrong, I can step in and say, okay, well, let's do this, and that, and, you know, we can fix it like this. And to be able to know what to actually do is really important. But
absolutely.
So we're always opening our doors for you know, kids all the way through to adults that want to learn about the film industry, and bring them on as interns and get them on real sets.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. I mean, hearing about all of that work that goes into essentially giving kids and adults what you didn't have growing up, you know, that sort of direction and that mentorship, and that this sense of stability, and that things can turn out the way you want it to, you know, with the right people in your life and the right opportunities, of course. But no, that's just amazing. That, you know, that's what we try to do, of course, is to give a voice to people who would otherwise
be not heard.
Thank you for that.
It is amazing. And to that point about voicelessness, you know, as you were talking about those moments on set, sort of reliving the pain and the events, the true to life events. I'll say that, I mean, to your point, it was a visceral reaction, like watching these things happen, these violent acts. You know, I was never physically beat up. I was bullied here and there throughout my childhood and throughout schooling. And as you're talking, I was kind of reliving an event that I had experienced. If I may, can I tell you a little short story of something
Absolutely.
that happened? So I was very much into like airsoft guns. You know, those are little fake pellet guns.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, probably to a fault. I got in trouble more than I should have regarding those things. But there's a kid, and I was I think maybe a freshman in high school, and he was driving. It was late at night. He was driving to pick up our friend. The kid wasn't a nice dude. He was like a year or two older than me, bigger, taller at the time. And my friend and I were like, we had our airsoft guns, and we just thought, oh, this would be a good idea if we shoot his car, like as he's driving off. We didn't know the kid, but we knew our friend who he was picking up. So we're like, oh, he'll think it's a joke. You know, it won't be a big deal. So we did. We shot the car. It was like pop, pop, pop. 2 little pellets hit his car, and then he screeched on the brakes. And I was like, oh my God, well, what's gonna happen next? He gets out of his car and like sprints over to my driveway, gets in my face. Like there's like 2 or 3 friends surrounding me, gets in my face, and then singles me out, and like is like pushing me around, like about to beat me up. Like that's what I'm assuming is about to happen next. And he's like, bro, you better pay for this. You better pay. I want $50 to pay for this paint chip. I'm like, first of all, these little pellets aren't going to chip off little paint on your car. So I just relax for a second. But I could not vocalize that. And so I ended up, and my mom is going to hear this, she's going to be upset, but I ended up going in her purse that night, taking out a $10 bill and giving it to him just to get him out of my face. I'm like, I shouldn't have to pay you in the first place, but just to get out of my face and to save an ass whooping for myself, let me just get myself out of this situation.
Next time I would use a Nerf gun. It would save you a little bit, gun, save you $10.
If I ever find myself in this situation. But
be a little cheaper.
Yeah, right.
But it's terrifying though.
No, but I bring up that story because for me, and I was an introverted child as well, and I had a very hard time standing up for myself and vocalizing like, no, I don't feel comfortable with this, or no, please stop. There's so many times in my childhood I would just let things happen, or let kids bully me because I just didn't feel powerful enough within myself and with my own voice to put a stop to it, or at least speak up for myself. And so, you know, it was a long time for me to be able to find that confidence and that power with my inner voice. And once I found it, and once I started using it for myself, I found that life was so much more fulfilling, and you know, I felt more in line with myself. You know, and so I'm just curious, with your experiences, what would you tell young kids who feel like they don't have a voice, who feel like they're voiceless? Excuse me, feel like they're voiceless and that they can't speak up for themselves. They feel powerless in a situation. How do you talk to those kids?
You know, that's a really tough question, because it's already such a scary moment, whether you stand up for yourself or you don't. And you know, I've talked to kids, and once they've built up the confidence to actually stand up for themselves, I asked them, I said, are you still getting bullied today after you stood up for yourself? And they said no. And it goes back to that analogy of, if you don't let it affect you, then they're not going to have fun with that.
No.
And you know, that's not every situation, because sometimes even if you don't let it affect you, they still keep coming. And you know, I don't know if there's one right answer to that, because there really isn't. But I would say try to get help, whether that is from a parent, a teacher, a friend, you know, a therapist, and really try to be able to gain the confidence and self-esteem to stand up for yourself and know that, you know what they're telling me about myself isn't true. I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid.
No.
I don't dress weird. I look good, and start turning it around and start creating the positive. A big thing that I always say is kill them with kindness, because they will be stunned. They have no idea what to do with that.
No,
right, the best
caught
kind
off guard.
Yes.
and so it's like, listen, if you look for the good in people, you'll find it. And if you look for the bad in people, you'll find it.
You'll find
we all
it.
have good and we all have bad. And that's just the truth of it.
We grow more. Yeah.
And I just think that it's really about trying to build up to either getting help or trying to stand up for yourself or stand up for other people, and trying your best at it, because that's what's going to stop them. Because otherwise, if nobody gets in their way, they're just going to keep mowing everybody down until there's that brick wall that stops them. And so even if you're not the one getting bullied, stand up for your peers, because they need you. They need you badly.
They do.
They do. Yeah, they do. Absolutely. That's beautiful. And I think it's a great message for everyone to hear, because we all at some point were children, and there are things that we could have done better. So something like that, to like be aware of, being supportive of your fellow students. And it's, you may help someone today and you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Someone else is going to come and help you when you need, because we all need help at some point in life. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah. So I'm really grateful of the work you're doing, and you're so young and you've accomplished a lot of things, which is something to celebrate and to be acknowledged. Because
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
With all the things you went through, you still, rose up. Is that rose up? Rise up? Rose up and kept going. And now you're helping all these young people. And you're a great example for them to know that, like you said earlier, you mentioned that everything is temporary. Nothing is, permanent. So just having that in mind, I feel like it's something to look forward to and giving them hope. So I was wondering if you have anything you want to share with the audience. There's something coming up, or if there's something in the future that you haven't mentioned yet that is very dear and special to you.
Absolutely. I have a new song that's coming out. It's called Too Close. And I'm actually going to probably post a preview of it pretty soon. So
nice.
Definitely go check that out. And it's we're actually in the process of doing the music video for it right now. So we're really excited, and that's going to be a great new song. I have another song that's really near and dear to my heart that I'm excited about, that's going to be coming real soon. I can't talk too much about it, but it's really gonna be a part of this whole bullying and self-esteem and growing in life. So I'm really excited about that one as well. But you can definitely check out my Instagram and TikTok at Presley810 and my website at PresleyAaronson.com, and keep up with all the updates of my new music and where I'm going to be and all that good stuff.
Wonderful.
Sounds good.
Do you have a guitar there by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
I don't right now. I wish I did.
Freestyle.
Free show.
I was fishing for a freestyle.
I wish I would have known. I would have brought a guitar.
I know. Sorry, it was me. I was thinking as you were saying the new music coming up. I was like, oh, maybe he mentioned I can play drum and guitar. So,
well, you know what? Next time, I'd love to come back and play a few songs for you guys.
Absolutely, we would love to have you back.
Yeah,
definitely. Be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and good luck with everything you're doing. We wish you nothing but all success and joy and happiness. And
thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blast, and I've had just a lot of fun with you guys talking for the last hour or so.
Thanks.
So
thank you.
You had fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, no, I just wanted to reflect those sentiments as well. It really was a pleasure.
Yeah.
getting to finally meet you. We weren't able to meet you the first time we saw you, but you are doing incredible work, and it's very reassuring that you are what you present to be, you know, online and when doing press junkets or whatever. You no, I mean, it really, and again, I know it feels weird because when people tell me like, oh, you're so young and you're doing things, but you are so young and you are doing things, and it's refreshing that whenever we talk to people younger than us, it is such a breath of fresh air hearing that this next generation is doing amazing work. And then, you know, all the work that older people, you know, we're not dropping the ball, you know, we're continuing passing the baton, as it were. So thank you again so much for your work. And again, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for the kind words. It really means a lot. And, you know, the biggest thing is just being able to share my story and try to help as many as possible. And if we can try to keep getting this out there. So please, anybody that's watching, share this video. You know, this background, the music video is really important. Anybody that needs to hear it, anybody that needs to watch it, please share it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll share it as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a wonderful.
See you next time.
See you next time, Princely.
Take care.